Book 3 opens with an observation that most people would rather not sit with. How many a Chrysippus? How many a Socrates? How many an Epictetus? He has already asked this in Book 2. Now he goes further. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. 4 words of instruction, no qualification, no further elaboration. Marcus Aurelius had very little patience for philosophy that stayed in the realm of argument. The point, always, was to live it, to close the gap between what you understood and what you actually did. Book 3 is where he turns his attention to the single most important arena for that gap, the present moment. The present moment is the only place where life actually happens. This sounds obvious. It is not obvious in practice. Most people spend the majority of their waking hours somewhere other than the present. In replay, going over what was said, what happened, what should have been different. In anticipation, rehearsing what might come, planning for contingencies, dreading possibilities. Marcus called this the multiplication of suffering. To suffer an event once when it actually occurs is unavoidable. To suffer it repeatedly in memory and anticipation is a choice, a habit, usually an unconscious one. Confine yourself to the present, he wrote. Again and again throughout the meditations, in slightly different words, the same instruction returns. He clearly needed reminding, as do most of us. In Book 3, he writes about time with particular precision. Time is a river of vanishing moments. He has said this in Book 2. Now he goes further. Of human life, the time is a point, and the substance is in a flux, and the perception dull, and the composition of the whole body subject to putrefaction. This is not comfortable reading, but notice what follows it. He does not collapse into despair. He does not conclude that nothing matters. He concludes the opposite, that because time is so short and so real, the present moment is the only place where anything of value can be done. The shortness of time is not an argument for nihilism. It is an argument for presence. What does presence actually look like for a man governing an empire? Marcus gives us a practical answer in Book 3. Never esteem anything as of advantage to you that will make you break your word or lose your self-respect. Do every act of your life as if it were the last. This is presence as ethics, not just paying attention to what is in front of you, but bringing your full self to it. Acting as though this moment, this decision, this person in front of you is the only thing that exists right now. Because in the only sense that matters, it is. The man who is genuinely present does not cut corners. He does not phone it in. He does not half do something because something else is coming later. He does this fully, now. There is a passage in Book 3 that reads differently from everything around it. It is almost gentle. When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly. He said something similar in Book 2, but here he continues differently. They are like this because they cannot tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good and the ugliness of evil, and have recognized that the wrongdoer has a nature related to my own. This is not tolerance as resignation. It is presence as compassion, to see another person clearly, not through the filter of your irritation or their behavior, but as they actually are. A human being doing the best they can with what they have. That requires presence. You cannot see someone clearly if you are not actually there. The practice Marcus describes is not complicated. It is simply the daily repeated choice to return. When you notice that your mind has gone somewhere else, into replay, into anticipation, into the rehearsal of imagined futures, or the revisitation of old wounds, you return. Without judgment, without drama, you simply come back to what is actually happening. He did this every morning. The meditations are in part the written record of that return, evidence that even the philosopher emperor needed reminding, that the practice never becomes so established that it no longer requires effort. This is not a failure. This is the practice. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Here. Now. In this moment, which is the only moment that has ever existed or will ever exist for any of us. Marcus Aurelius wrote this to himself. He failed at it regularly. He returned to it every morning. That is not weakness. That is what the practice looks like from the inside.